This formation is a serious dark horse in this year's game. So today I'm going to be showing you guys the best 4-4-1-1 custom tactics and why I feel it is stronger than the 4-4-2. Let's get into it. If this video does help you guys out, please be sure to leave a like on the video. It really goes a long way and helps me out. In return, as always, here is the tactical code on screen below. Getting into the custom tactics, we're going to have the build-up style unbalanced and the defensive approach with the line height at 60. Now, build-up style short passing works really well on it. However, because of the way you can get in very direct with this formation, balance just allows you to do that a little bit better. Sometimes with short passing on certain formations, it lends to the build-up and helps. Then on others, I find that they're coming short too much. So it really is relative to the formation, I find. So balance is what worked better for me on this one. Defensive approach, I've been really enjoying 60 depth. I started with the really aggressive line and that does work as well. But something about 60 depth on this game is a real kind of sweet spot for me. But as far as the line depth goes, just go with whatever your personal preference is. In terms of the team shape, without the ball, we've got this traditional 4-4-1-1, 4-2-3-1 sort of robust shape. And then with the ball, you've got this kind of like weird shaped formation. Now, where you see the cam there sitting like right up behind the striker, in reality, in game, that cam drifts either to the left or the right of that striker, depending on which side you're attacking down. They don't just sit right behind the striker up their backside. They do drift like in like a second striker off to the side of them. It's a bit more offset than what this with ball graphic shows, but nonetheless, as far as the rest of the team goes, that is pretty much how it lays out when you do have the ball. Getting into the player role, starting with our striker, because they are a lone striker, we're going complete for the focus, so they make runs both wide and centrally, and then advance forward up top, just so we get a nice mix of runs and of them coming short as well. For the central attacking midfielder, they are on shadow striker. Now, this works really well in this formation. A lot of people this year are using a 4-4-2 and putting false 9 on one of the strikers to kind of get that offset. This is similar, but it doesn't work quite the same. With a 4-4-2, they're basically in the striker position until you're in the attack where they drop off. With this, it's kind of the other way around. With the build-up, they're already dropped off, and there is the passing option, so you get the 5-man midfield. But once you actually get into that final third, they support as a second striker, so you've got 2 central goal threats. I think that works better in game than a 4-4-2 with a false 9, which is why I'm edging towards this 4-4-1-1 over a 4-4-2, because I can get that 4-4-2 shape in the final third, but I get the 5th man in midfield throughout my whole build-up. So it's like I've got 12 players in a way. The cam kind of acts as 2 different positions in one go with the shadow striker. Works amazing. I do have Dybala, who has the Shadow Striker plus. That might be a big element of what makes this tick so well. So if you try this and you're not having much success, it might be worth getting someone with the roll plus in at the cam position. Our right mid and left mid are on inside forward with the focus on balanced. Balanced so you get a bit more defensive support, and then inside forward because, quite honestly, there's something about this that works so perfectly in the game. You get the support out wide, but they kind of cut into such perfect positions for the link-up play in the final third. I just really haven't strayed too far from this because of how much success I'm having with it. So for now, we are sticking with inside forward because it's super effective. Make sure your players in the wide positions have at least 90 plus pace and have the likes of the rapid play style. Having formidable pace in those wide areas for a formation that plays so well direct is such an asset. Our 2 central midfielders, as you guys know, I call these the cannons because they both either have incisive or long ball pass plus, so they're able to full send those balls into those in behind runners in our wingers and our strikers and pick them out with absolute perfection every time. So really ensure you have either incisive pass plus or long ball pass plus on your 2 centre mids because it just lends so well to the way this formation plays. They're both on box to box, so they support an attack but also get back on the defence. I will say, after an attack, the team is quite committed. If you struggle breaking up the midfield play or you're not very disciplined with switching into your midfielders before your defenders, it might be worth giving the, let's have a look, the holding or the deep line playmaker role a go. I haven't tried these because I like the way box-to-box plays, but if you find your centre mids are too overcommitted when you lose the ball, I would experiment with these two, depending on the players that you have and I think that will solve that issue for you guys. The right back and left back are on full back balance, something I've loved on this year's game as a combination. They sit back as a stay back while attacking right back and left back, but the focus being on balance just allows you to pull them into the play whenever you want to. So for me, this is probably going to be a staple throughout the game until I find something better. As far as the centre backs go, just defend to defend. I don't like doing anything too fancy with my centre backs, but something that is actually really of note is something that I've changed recently, and that is on the goalkeeper. So I've got the role on goalkeeper, but I've actually got the focus now on balanced. I had a game in this weekend league where I lost in the 90th minute, where the ball was on the edge of the 6-yard box and Maignan was on his line, and I was holding triangle to bring him out, and he was just like stuttering and not leaving his line. And I can only think that this focus being on defend had something to do with that. He literally just had to come out and collect the ball, but instead he just kind of stood there and hesitated, and the opponent was just able to run onto the ball in the 6-yard box and just tap it in. It was really weird. Maybe it was a glitch in the game. It was certainly very buggy, but I just couldn't help but think if anything that just happened is in my control, it's on this focus. So I've switched it to balanced, and as you can see there on that green graph, it allows him to push forward a little bit. So I'm leaving it on balance from now on, because I can't be giving away free 90th minute winners at the cost of an input not working. So I don't know if focus on defend for a goalkeeper is actually a good thing, if it can actually disable you pulling out your goalkeeper. Really didn't like that, and I know I'm ranting, but as you can tell, it cost me a rank 1 finish by not being able to bring him out. So I strongly recommend, at the bare minimum, go goalkeeper and put the focus on balance. As we get into the gameplay and you guys just see a few of the goals to get a feel for how I play with this formation, take note of these first couple of goals, because it really shows the inherent quality of how direct you can play with this formation. If you trigger those runners, you've got such good little triangles and passing angles to work the ball and then just full send that ball and get people clean through. On this game, with the 5-back meta kind of being more prominent as the days go by, having the ability to play this direct is an absolute gem, because it doesn't matter how many defenders people have got if you run in behind them and they're not there. So having the ability to play direct, I think, is really, really valuable in this year's game. And then with other clips that I'm showing you guys here, just pay attention to the way the cam sometimes acts as a striker, sometimes drops and acts as a midfielder. Like I say, it's like having 2 players in one. It's an extremely valuable asset in this formation, and it's personal preference, but I personally do think having a cam on shadow striker works better than having a striker on false 9. I just love the way this works in game. It works so much better than I could have imagined. So really, really urge you guys to give this a go. Don't just be too stubborn on the 4-4-2, which is an amazing formation, by the way. I still have my 4-4-2 that I put up on the channel as a setup that I switch to if I want to, but this 4-4-1-1 has really just kind of taken over for me as my favourite 4-back. I'm keen to try a 4-2-3-1 next, just because that's a very, very similar shape to this, but obviously the centre mids sit a little bit deeper, and as I mentioned earlier, my centre mids in this, I noticed, do push up quite high, so maybe even a 4-2-3-1 could be an even stronger version of this. So I'm definitely excited to give a 4-2-3-1 a go, but as of right now, this formation is just an absolute chef's kiss to me. Be sure to give these tactics a go, guys, and let me know down below how you get on with them. As always, if you've got any questions about the formation, anything you're not sure of, just leave a comment and I'll get straight back to you. But as always, if you did make it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.